today we're going to talk, as I said, about adjudication. All right, so the verb to adjudicate means to listen to two parties and try to settle a dispute. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Everybody understands what I mean by that? Okay, so if you are trying to settle a dispute between your two kids, brother and sister, over toys, mummy will listen to the brother and the sister and then will try to convince them to share the toys or to stop fighting over a toy, right? Can everybody agree to that? How many of you have kids? So mummy becomes the adjudicator, correct? Okay, great, excellent. If you are at work and a customer refuses to pay because the food was no good, your only two choices are to either call the police and cause your restaurant a bad name, or the customer walks out and takes your restaurant to court and sues you for food poisoning, or goes to adjudication for you to pay his medical bills. Now, regardless which way, the fact is that when we say to adjudicate, it means to hear the different argument between two or more people and try to give them a decision which works for all of them. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay. Now you might say, why do we have to go to adjudication and why don't we just go to court? Because when you take someone to court, the cost of litigation in the court process is much more expensive than adjudication. Do you all understand this? Can you put your hands up? Yes or no? Does everybody understand it? Very good. So let's look at adjudication in business and what makes adjudication, ladies and gentlemen, a process that helps businesses. What makes it that process? Why is it something that businesses should consider? Because it's cheaper than going to court. It's cheaper than employing lawyers. Okay, so what is it? It's a formal way of resolving a argument between two or more parties. It's a very formal way of doing it. And this happens not by a judge, by an independent person, usually a business person or an industry leader. So if you go to adjudication over a phone bill or an unpaid bill, it would usually be heard by somebody who was either a lawyer or accountant or an auditor, and he would sit in a big meeting room, hear both sides of the story, and give you the best solution. Now, where do we use adjudication? We use it over construction, manufacturing business, finance business, employment matters, rental tenancy disputes, insurance contract disputes. Most commonly in Asia, it's used over company and supplier disputes or teleco and consumer disputes. Okay, so why do we go to adjudication? It's because you disagree with a company over the amount that has to be paid, or the company is refusing to provide you what they promised you after you paid them the money. Now, in some countries, there is special processes, especially for construction and the building industry. And in the UK, in the US, and in countries where the construction industry is very big, they have special adjudication experts only for construction who are engineers or architects and experts in the construction industry. So when you think about it, if a mother is trying to resolve a dispute between her children, she's an expert because she knows her children. If Cho Cho is trying to resolve a dispute with her boyfriend's parents over their wedding plans, she would be the expert because Cho Cho is the one who has to work with her boyfriend to save up enough money to pay for the wedding. Now, if the boyfriend's parents won't listen to Cho Cho and they won't listen to her boyfriend, she's only got two options, right, Cho Cho? You only have two options. One, find a new boyfriend, he finds new parents, or you get an uncle or an auntie to sit in who's older than you and talk to them. Would you agree with that, Cho Cho? Yes? Cho agrees, but she's smiling. Okay. All right. So the person who tries to resolve the dispute between Cho and her boyfriend's parents is known as an adjudicator. But in the formal process in business, the adjudication process is a lot more official. It's all done through writing and with certain guidelines. So why do we use adjudication rather than take the customer to court for not paying? Because to go to court and have the matter heard by a judge, it is a lot more expensive. A lot more expensive, okay? And the reason why it's so much more expensive is because judges don't want everybody trying to bring simple matters before them. Judges only want to hear matters that can't be resolved outside court. And that's why legal disputes are very, very expensive. If somebody owes you money, you run a business and you supply material to a restaurant and they owe you $5,000 and they haven't paid you for 90 days, to take them to court and get your money will cost you more than $5,000. So is it feasible to take them to court? No. The easier way is to go to independent arbitration where a lawyer or a finance expert will sit and listen to why they don't want to pay. He will listen to you as a supplier and then come to an agreement between the two parties to make sure they pay you. Today in Asia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Australia, Singapore, almost everywhere in Asia, adjudication has become the best way for business to resolve disputes with its customers. Now, let's talk about this. Let's understand how it works, okay? So let's talk about it. What is adjudication? An independent adjudicator resolves disputes defined by four core characteristics. So, excuse me, we can say that adjudication in simple English is a formal way to resolve disputes. Because as we said, if Cho Cho tries to tell her kids not to fight over toys, it's informal because mummy just yells at them, quiet, both of you. Now stop fighting over your toys. Tell me, why are you fighting? And mummy will come up with a solution. That is informal adjudication. But when we're doing business with clients, when we're doing business with manufacturers, when we're actually going into disputes with renovation contractors, with building contractors, with insurance companies, with teleco providers, or with banks, you need formal adjudication. Why do we use it? One, because it's fast and it will save you months or years. It only takes about 28 days. Two, it's independent. The people that will actually listen to both sides doesn't know you, doesn't know the other party, and he is the third party who is respected in business or lawyer, and he will try to convince both sides to settle the matter, save it going to court. It's cost effective. It's cheaper than employing lawyers, barristers, and going to courts. and it is enforceable straight away. So what does that mean? If an adjudicator issues a letter or a decision to you and the contractor is bound by that decision. And if the contractor doesn't do what he was told, you can still take him to court. Okay, so the process is a formal way of reaching a resolution between two parties. So let's talk about this. Can anybody give me an example of a dispute between two parties? Who can give me an example? Joshua, can you give me an example? Hi, Joshua. Are you there, Joshua? Give me an
Yes, sir,
example
I'm
of a
here.
dispute. Give me an example of a dispute between you and another party that you think could go to adjudication. Can you give me an example?
Uh, for example, I prefer usually it's about what do you call this? About timing, you know. Sometimes we want to finish the work now, but some of the people want to do it later or tomorrow. It's like it's what if you can do it now? Why why you should make it tomorrow pa? Para like that.
Right. So what he's saying is you've entered a contract with someone to supply or deliver services, but either the
Mm.
supplier or the customer delay the process. So if you're a
Yes, sir.
customer, you simply want it done as soon as possible. And if
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
supplier delays you, you cannot wait. So you either have to get your refund or you have to go to a legal body, an arbitration body, to force that person to get the work done for you. Otherwise, you could be waiting for years. If Joshua was building a house and the builder started building, he promised to complete the house in 5 months. After 5 months, the house was still without a roof. Can Joshua live in the house without a roof? No. After 6 months, the roof is on, but there's no windows. Can Joshua live in the house? No. His new wife to be is soon about to tell him to go and find a new girlfriend because he can't even get a house built before the wedding. So, is Joshua going to risk losing his future wife over a contractor who is either lazy, he run out of money and cannot complete the contract, or is Joshua going to take action to get the house built so him and his new wife can move in? Which one are you going to do, Joshua?
I rather change the source of the material, sir.
So you would like to
Who
take
are
action,
willing
right?
to who are willing to do it faster and earlier, sir.
Right. Okay. So if he says to the supplier, I will cancel my contract, you will refund me, I'll go somewhere else. The supplier says, no, I can't refund you. You want to go, you lose your money. So Joshua's only situation now is to either sue the supplier or to get independent adjudication. Now, the other party doesn't have to agree, but the other party will receive official notice from an adjudicator. And if the other party doesn't turn up, the adjudicator can issue an order which the other party will have to follow. So why doesn't Joshua just go before a judge in a court? Because if Joshua's whole contract is worth $5,000 and he wants to go to the court in the Philippines to sue for $5,000, the lawyer's costs and court costs will be more than $5,000 and Joshua will lose. So his best idea is to go ahead, document his communication with the other party, apply to adjudication from an independent adjudication body that is available in most countries, and you can look for it under adjudication or adjudication firms or adjudicators, business adjudication firms, and you can apply to them to adjudicate in the matter. What will happen is within 1 month, they will listen to both sides and try to reach a resolution. The cost is lower. In the meantime, Joshua can find new parts finish the job, and then wait for the outcome of adjudication. Otherwise, poor Joshua is going to be without a house, without his money, and without a wife. And Joshua doesn't like losing, do you, Joshua? You there, Joshua? Joshua likes to win. Am I right, Joshua? Talk to me, Joshua.
Yes, sir.
Don't nod your
Yes, sir.
head. Talk to me. Great. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, adjudication is the process of being able to settle a dispute between two parties. Okay? That's one example. Let me go to another one. Mary Len goes to a salon and tells them she wants to change her hair color to gold. Okay? She wants gold hair because she wants to look like Madonna for a disco tomorrow night. Then after that, she'll go back and change it to brown or red, or whatever she wants. Now, poor Mary Lynn went to this salon because her mother recommended it. And it's not cheap, it's expensive. She paid $300. And after they colored her hair, Mary Len walked out with white hair. She looked like her grandmother. It wasn't gold, it was white. It was completely white. It was ruined. It was 9 o'clock on Friday night, and the party starts at 10. Can she get it fixed? Oh, no. It's too late. Can she still go to the party? Oh, yeah. But are the guys going to look at her with white hair? Probably not. Is she going to be happy? No, she's probably going to hide in a corner or wear a baseball cap to cover her head. Okay, so Mary Len is unhappy. So she's got two choices. She can either slap the stylist across the face, then they call the police, she's arrested for assault, and then goes to a jailhouse and doesn't go to the party at all with her white hair. Or she can simply lodge a complaint with an adjudicator asking the salon to compensate her for the cost of getting her hair fixed at another salon and for the money she lost on the disco tickets where she couldn't go because she was embarrassed. Okay? It's still going to be cheaper for her than it would be to take them to a court and pay $5,000, right? Would you agree with that, Mary Len? Tell me, Mary Len, would you still go to the disco or not? Open your microphone, Mary Len. Anu, can you open Mary Len's microphone, please, ma'am? Hi, Mary Len. Tell Anu, would you still go to the disco with white hair or would you go home?
I I still want to go because I bought the ticket already, so I need to use the ticket also. But and then I will fix my hair that it looks good on me.
Hold on. I'm asking you a question, Mary Len. All the guys are listening. You now have white hair like a 60-year-old grandmother. Are you still going to try to go to the concert?
Oh no, probably not.
All right. No, that's the wrong answer, Mary Len. That's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted you to say yes. Mary Len will still go to the concert because if she doesn't go to the concert, she has no reason to contest. Do you understand what I mean? Let me explain. If Mary Len wanted to sue the salon for failure and she did not go to the disco, they'll say you didn't go. You, for all we know, had you gone to the disco, it may have looked good. So she would have no grounds for substantial contest. But if she went to the disco and took photos of how people were staring at her and laughing at her, she has a stronger ground for her to get compensation. Do you understand that, Mary Len? So your first answer was correct. Everybody give Mary Len a big hand. Come on, clap for Mary Len, please. Thank you. All right, good on you, Mary Len. Now, I got another question here about a wedding planner. Has anybody ever used a wedding planner? Put your hands up. Who's using a wedding planner? Anyone? No one? Anu, did you use a wedding planner? No? All right. I did. But my wife picked them. They were her best friends, so I couldn't be choosy. I paid a lot of money, and all I got was a wife, nothing else. But anyway, that was 40 years ago. Anyway, too late to complain. All right. So a wedding planner. Let's talk about a wedding planner. Why do you go to a wedding planner, Leovi. Can you tell everybody? Hi, Leovi. Why do you use a wedding planner? Come on, open your microphone. Don't be shy. Anu, open Leovi's microphone, please. Come on, Leovi. Unmute your microphone, Miss Leovi.
Yes, sir.
Tell Anu, why do people use a wedding planner?
To make it good on the wedding.
Right. So it's to make your wedding good, right? All right. Let's take
Yes.
up two scenarios. Leovi is marrying a rich guy. And he told her, Leovi, go and find a wedding planner. You've got a budget of 125,000 US dollars. Wow, Leovi's over the moon. But hold on, her wedding dress is now $20,000. But she's not going to tell her boyfriend that because he's given her the budget. It's no longer a cheap $4,000 dress. It's now a $20,000 dress. She's got $105,000 left. Hold on. But hold on. Leovi's not your normal girl. On her way to the wedding dress shop, she found a pair of Salvatore Ferragamo shoes that are handmade. Her $50 shoes are no longer good enough for her wedding. The shoes are now $5,000. She has spent $25,000, right, Leovi? And you still haven't arranged a wedding. She goes to the wedding planner and she tells the wedding planner, we need a wedding in this function place, 200 people, and my boyfriend wants them all to eat lobster, prawns, and caviar. No if, no but, no maybe. That's the budget. So what does the wedding planner do? He takes her money and says yes. He signs an agreement with her. And then on the day of the wedding, does she get prawns? No, she gets frozen shrimps. Does she get lobster? No, she gets prawns, king prawns. Okay. Okay. Does she get caviar? No, she gets, what's that? Stuff made out of, chemicals that looks like caviar. Now, what can Leovi do? What would you do, Leovi? Hello, Leovi. You closed your microphone. You ran away from me, Leovi. Open your microphone. What would you do, Leovi? It's your wedding night. And this wedding planner has embarrassed you because you haven't told your boyfriend yet that you spent $25,000 on your dress and shoes and you didn't have enough to get what he wanted. What would you do during the wedding? Would you look upset?
No.
You wouldn't be upset? All right, okay. She's a happy girl. So after the wedding, Leovi would be very angry. So how can she get compensation from the wedding planner? Only two ways. She can go to social media and blog about them and get nothing. She can forget about it and get ripped off and feel like she's silly. And her husband will never forgive her for not spending the money correctly and probably never trust her with money again, especially if they're newly married. Okay. The third option is for her to go to adjudication, to say, listen, I paid $100,000, but the food I got was not worth $100,000. It was only $65,000. I want a refund. I have a contract. So the only way she could get settlement is to go to adjudication. Now, that sort of adjudication would be a consumer body where they take consumer supplier complaints and she would complain against that business. Okay. Now, within 28 days, Leovi will present her case and the wedding planner will tell them why he couldn't supply. And Leovi will give them pictures of the cheap rubbish that they ate at the wedding, which was not what was promised. Leovi will win. She will get a case and she will probably get half her money back. Okay. But if Leovi wants to take that wedding planner to court, she will wait 5 years. The actual cost to take him to court will cost her more than the money she's fighting for. All right.
I think so.
And then her husband will be very angry. She keeps wasting his money. She can't buy another Louis Vuitton bag. Am I right, Leovi?
Yes, sir.
You understand my example, Leovi?
Yes, yes.
It's so good to have you. Leovi, don't be shy to participate. By participating, you get to learn. So now you know what adjudication is, right?
Yes, I know,
So
sir.
do you have a business?
Before,
And why
but
did you
now
stop business? Why did you
it's
close?
it's lost.
All right. Is it because you don't know
Um,
how to do business back then, or is that because your suppliers ripped you off?
because it's my first time to get that business.
Good.
So
But you're a good girl because now you're learning how to run a business by attending BizTalk. And next time you want to run a business, Mr. Wally will help you. Okay, young lady? All right?
yes,
That's a
sir.
promise. Thank you, Leovi. So does everybody now understand the simple explanation of what adjudication is? Yes or no? Yes or no? Chen, do you understand it, Chen? Mr. Chen An Bui? Chen An Bui? Chen is busy talking to his girlfriend, I think. All right. So let me take you to one other scenario before I go on. If you go to McDonald's and ask for a Big Mac without pickles, and they give you a Big Mac with pickles, do you need to go to arbitration? No, because you all know the secret behind McDonald's. They will never say no to a customer. I'll teach you a trick, but don't tell McDonald's I taught you. You can buy a Big Mac, go to the table, take 2 bites, then go and complain that the meat is dry. They'll give you another one. Go back to your table, take 2 more bites, go and complain that the Big Mac doesn't have enough salt on it. They'll give you another one. After that, you do what Mary does. You take 2 more bites and go and complain that, you know what? It doesn't taste right without the pickles. Can I have it with the pickles, please? Guess what the poor McDonald's store will do? They'll give her another one. Okay, so she's had 2 bites, 2 bites, 2 bites, 6 bites. That's half a Big Mac. So by the time she leaves the restaurant, she's eaten 1.5 Big Macs for the cost of one Big Mac. Why? Because she used the smart way out. She knows that McDonald's will never say no to a customer. Never. So, Mary Len, next time you go to McDonald's, try that, okay? And let me know the outcome. Oh, you do it. Mary Len already does it. Nelson, you do it too. Do you, Nelson? Hello, Nelson. Open your microphone, Nelson. Anu, Nelson does this regularly. Can
Yes,
you open his microphone?
yes,
Nelson, what do you do at
yes,
McDonald's? Tell
yes,
everybody,
sir.
please.
Well, I was ordering like I think fillet of fish, sir, fillet of fish,
Yeah,
and then after my first bite, I don't think it's enough for me the taste, and I think I need some like a pinch of salt on it. So I just
yeah.
go back to the counter and then give back the try to give back the fillet of fish, but they never accepted the fillet of fish, but instead they add me another fillet of fish.
So you went back to your table and ate 2 burgers, which were very nice, and you didn't have to pay for 2 like Mary Len, and you were very happy that day. You saved money, right?
Yes.
Well, okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
can we call
Yes,
that
sir.
self-adjudication? It's self-adjudication. Probably Leovi does it. I do it. Okay, probably you all do it, right? But I do it on bigger things. I go in and buy 6 pieces of chicken and I take them back and they say they're cold. So they give me another 6 pieces and then I walk out with 12 pieces. All right. You get more value for money. Okay. All right. Good on
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay. So is that adjudication? Well, it is. It's self-adjudication. Is it fair?
Yes, sir.
Well, not really,
Yes,
but that is
it's
that is what McDonald's says to its customer. That's what McDonald's says to its customer. McDonald's will never question a customer. The customer is always right. Does anybody
yes,
know
sir.
any other brand in the world that does that? There's one other brand. Does anybody know who it is? Mary Ann? Mary Len? Who is the other brand? Anu, could you open Mary Len's microphone? She's very talkative today. Mary Len, who's the other
Yeah,
brand? Who's
one
the
of the
other
fast
brand?
Jollibee.
Who? Jollibee. My
Yeah,
poor friend at Jollibee. You're not that doing that to my poor friend at Jollibee. He's a very nice guy. Tony is a very nice guy. Okay.
when
Okay,
you
but it's okay. Yeah, Jollibee is the same. Tell people about Jollibee. Go ahead.
order like a grub, then they will send you a different
Yeah.
item that they will send you another. It's all one what you order. They will give you full what you order. The same thing.
Right. And you get double for nothing, right?
Yeah.
I do that too. I order the chicken joy and I go back and say it's cold and I get double. I do that too. Very good. But there's one other brand that does it. Starbucks. Does everybody know Starbucks? You get a hot caramel latte, Anu, and in Dubai you pay like 47 dirhams for it. You drink half of it, you go back to the counter and say this tastes like hot milk. There's not enough caramel in it. Guess what, Anu? They'll make you another one. You drink half of it again. You go back and say, there's not enough coffee in this. It still tastes like milk. Anur has drank half of two. She goes back for the third, and she has just had two caramel lattes worth probably 130, what, 47, 47, what, about 90, whatever it is, or 100, sorry, I want to talk about 104 dirhams, okay, for the price of one. Okay, now if Anu can save that every day for her caramel latte, she'll be a millionaire at the end of the month. Is that right, Anu? Okay, but she wouldn't do that. She's a nice lady. If her son goes to KFC because her son loves KFC, and every day her son goes to the counter and says, this chicken is not good enough. I'm your regular customer. And each day her son gets two free pieces of chicken, Anu will be very happy. She doesn't have to pay for 4 pieces of chicken. All right. So in one way or another, corporate world is saving the fact that they don't want their reputation ruined. All right. Can I ask you, what are they doing by giving Anu's son free chicken? What are they doing? What is it that they're saving the brand? Anu's son is only what, 12, 13, Anu? Okay, and he is only a young customer. He's going to grow up, he's going to have a girlfriend, he's going to go dating, and he's going to give his mother heart attacks about staying out till 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he's going to say to mummy, I want to marry this girl. And mummy and daddy will say no and argue with him for 4 or 5 months. And eventually he'll marry the girl he wants. But along the way, he wants to take his girlfriend out and he wants to eat his favorite food. Now, if KFC don't satisfy him, is he going to be their loyal customer till he's 25 or 26? No, they're going to lose him. So is it cheaper for them to satisfy him or is it cheaper for him to lose him? Very good, Hildegard. They're saving the customer and avoiding bad reputation, avoiding social media, and avoiding this young kid telling his friends not to go to KFC. Or if his mother really wants to piss them off, she can go and write a complaint to their head office in the US and cause a big headache for them because her son is upset over 2 pieces of chicken. So in every point or process, there is a reason why people think seriously about going to court or arbitration or adjudication, avoiding bad feedback, avoiding damage to the brand, avoiding having the brand compromised in any way, shape, or form. All of these things play an important role in why people choose to either get adjudication or avoid going to court. Does everybody understand that so far? Yes or no? Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay, great. So let's go back to our slides, guys. Here we go. Okay, so as we said, as I just said, adjudication, ladies and gentlemen, happens in many ways or forms. But in most legal and professional settings, it follows a very clearly defined process. It's not about arguing with someone, but it begins when one party raises a dispute by submitting a document outlining their complaint and what they want. They would stipulate the relevant facts. They would explain what happened. For example, I went to a wedding planner. I paid for this, but this is what I got. Here are the pictures. Now, what happens? Once you submit your dispute to the adjudicator, they will write to the other party, okay, and they will give them a document telling them what you're claiming and why, and they will ask them to explain their side or attend a hearing. Now, there's one thing that makes the adjudication process better. That means that the decision that is made by a neutral authority. And it means by a neutral authority rather than through mutual agreement. So it's not about Anu agreeing with her best friend about, paying her back a loan. It's an agreement made by a neutral authority to say that Anu, you must pay back the loan. You're already 2 years in default. You must pay it back, and this is the amount you must pay. All right, so basically, adjudication is about listening to both parties, reaching a compromise, okay, without providing a bad reputation for the business. And what it is, it allows both parties to agree and to remain friends, or to remain customer and business, or customer and supplier. All right. Within the building industry and construction industry, the process is a little bit more complicated because you're dealing with building contractors, engineers, electrical and structural engineers. And this can happen very quickly because the construction of a building could be delayed if you have to go to court by 1 year. So in the construction industry, there is very specialized adjudication, and it will always happen within 28 days. If you take the builder to court, you could be waiting 2 or 3 years. All right. But when you say construction or building, that's only one type of adjudication. Banks, you can take your bank to adjudication over charging you too much interest or foreclosing on your loan. You can take your company, your employer, to adjudication over unfair termination or not paying your salary correctly. But, some people prefer to take employment matters directly to the government bodies. But if you take them to a government body, you're going to give yourself a bad name. And if you go and apply for a new job and they hear that you took your old employer to court and lost, you probably will never get another job. Consumer protection, you and a wedding planner, you and a building contractor, or you have a dispute with your landlord. Does everybody understand what I've explained so far? Yes or no? So the difference between adjudication and you arguing with someone is adjudication is a formal process. You don't have to get emotional. You don't have to get angry. You don't have to slap your boyfriend across the face and end up in a jail cell. You actually can have a third party resolve it for you. Does everybody understand this, Mario, Monte, Hugo? Yeah, okay, great. Everybody understands what I'm saying? Are you sure? Great. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, adjudication is a simple way to reach a compromise without ruining your brand, spending unnecessary money on legal fees. Do you understand that, Marites? Thank you. All right, let me go on. Okay, so if we talk about this, what is the first step in adjudication? Well, first, for example, ABC Construction completed electrical installation for a new office building owned by XYZ Developments. The contract value was £150, but XYZ paid only £100,000, claiming that some of the electrical work was defective. ABC disagreed and issued a notice of adjudication through an adjudicator stating they want $50,000. Once the adjudicator has received her complaint, then he will serve a notice. Okay? Once the notice has been served, an impartial adjudicator must be appointed. So what does this mean? First, you would have to send a notice of adjudication, which is a simple form to fill in to tell the other party you intend to appoint the adjudicator. Now, when you try to appoint an adjudicator, they will help you with this. Once you appoint an adjudicator, the adjudicator will basically contact the other party and advise him that he has been appointed, and he will review evidence or call both parties to a hearing. Now, when the process goes to adjudication, the other party might say, well, I'm happy to go to adjudication, but I want to use this adjudicator. It's usually any adjudicator. But for example, as I said, ABC Construction and XYZ Developments could not agree on who should serve as adjudicator. Consequently, the adjudicator nominating body identified in their contract, or if there's no arbitrator or adjudicator in the contract, it could be just an adjudicator that you found in your country that does construction contracts. And this could be an construction lawyer specializing in construction-related disputes, and you can usually find these people on the internet or in the yellow pages. And what would happen? He would notify the other party, and they would actually be advised of the claim. The referral notice is the claimant's detailed presentation. So once the adjudicator has accepted, he has notified the other party, he will issue a referral notice. Now, the referral notice is basically detailed presentation of the disputes. It expands upon the notice of adjudication, providing all the relevant facts, legal arguments, and contractual provisions. For example, ABC Construction submitted a referral notice containing signed construction contract, copies of unpaid invoices, work completion certificates, or in the case of the wedding planner, pictures of the food that he supplied and the contract that he had signed. Okay. Now, remember, XYZ Developments, okay, will respond, okay, to defend itself, saying that the $50,000 was justified because ABC did not do the electrical wiring themselves. So once ABC Construction has issued the notice of claim, XYZ would respond to that claim. The right to reply, that means that both parties have a right to actually tell their reasons why. Both of them have a right to reply. They can hand over documents. They can call expert witnesses. For example, the young lady who got gray hair can call her friends to say how much embarrassment she got at the nightclub. That evidence would be accepted before a consumer group arbitrator. Okay, right of rejoinder. What does that mean? In some cases, you may allow the responding party to submit a rejoinder. What does this mean? This means that provides a final opportunity to address points in the claimant's reply and ensures procedural balance. Now, this will only happen usually in very complicated contracts. XYZ argued that the defects originated from ABC's workmanship rather than subsequent alterations. Okay, so it could be that you refuse to pay $50,000, but the electrical contractor says that the reason the wiring doesn't work is because you got other work done. So you can then call the person who did the other renovations to give evidence to say that he did not touch the electrical wiring. So it had nothing to do with the faulty electrical wiring. Do you all understand that, everyone? Yes or no? Does everybody understand this? Can you put up your hands, please? Yes or no? Okay, so it's the same that, you got your hair done, you got gray hair, you have to prove to the adjudicator that because of the gray hair, everybody laughed at you, or you weren't able to pick up a new boyfriend. You could bring your friends along to give evidence. So it's a simple way to get a resolution. Do you all understand this now? Yes or no? Can everybody wave to me if you can hear me and understand me? Great, excellent. Okay, great. Okay, can anybody give me an example of why it would be best to get adjudication rather than go to court? Who can give me an example? Come on, anybody. Mary Len's already had 2 examples. Who can give me another one? What about you, Shinta? Can you give me an example, Shinta? Why do you think that adjudication might be better than going to court, Shinta? Can you unmute Shinta's microphone, please? Hi, Shinta.
Oh, hi.
Why do you think it might be better to get adjudication rather than take someone to court?
I think
Crystal
it's
says to
too
save
much
time and
hassle.
money. Sorry?
It's too much hassle.
Too
It's
much hassle?
it's too much hassle if they
Right.
went to the
And,
court rather than
right.
just
And then it can cause your company a bad reputation if you lose the case. You could end up spending too
yes.
much money on lawyers. Is that right?
Yes.
Very good, Shinta. Excellent. So save money and trouble, save brand and reputation are 2 of the major reasons. And there's another reason that you could end up giving your company a bad name and no one else will want to do business with you. Very good. Adjudication is the best way to save time and money and also can affect the business's reputation if it is wrong. Okay? If you go to court, you can affect the business reputation, whereby adjudication is a softer approach that wouldn't cause too much damage to the business reputation. Does everybody understand this so far? Yes or no? Very good. Okay, so let me go back and share my screen. All right, so if we keep going, adjudicator's determination. This is when the adjudicator hears from both sides and he will issue a determination within 28 days. Now, if this was in the United Kingdom for construction, it would come from a construction adjudicator. If it was from a consumer-related adjudication, consumer matters, it would come from a consumer law expert who is the adjudicator, like the case of the hair salon damaging the girl's hair. That would be a consumer body adjudicator who listens to retail outlets and customer complaints. And if she wanted to prove her case, she could even get another hairstylist, a witness, to tell the adjudicator that the reason her hair was gray is because the other salon did the coloring wrong, which would help her win the case. Now, part of the determination could be that they refund her the exact money she paid for the coloring of her hair, or they could get an instruction to compensate her the money she paid for her hair, plus the money she paid for the disco ticket, and any other money for the embarrassment she was caused. But usually, pain and suffering would mean going to court. Through adjudication, it would usually be the cost and whatever it will take to fix it. and if she lost any money because she had to take a day off to get it fixed. All right, so let's look at the process in a simple format. One, you raise the dispute. One side sends a short notice saying what the disagreement is and what they want. Usually you do that in a letter or an email. At the same time, you contact an independent adjudicator company or body, which you can find on the internet or in the yellow pages, and you also submit your application to them. Once the adjudicator accepts your case, which they will, they might charge you a minimal fee. You put your case to the adjudicator, and the adjudicator will then call the other party for their information, and then he will review the evidence and make a decision which he agrees with both of you during the adjudication process. So, does everybody understand the 5 steps? Yes or no? Yes or no? Think about it, for example. If you are a bakery and you are going to take your flour supplier to adjudication because you say that the flour supplier, the quality of the flour is no longer what you're paying for, it's dropped. So you're asking the flour supplier to refund you for the substandard flour. Now, if you take them to court or write on social media, the danger is that no other flour company will do business with you. However, if you set out your reasons, give them examples of what and evidence, and then let an adjudicator call both of you, hear both of you, and try to come to a reasonable resolution, you might still be able to do business with that flour supplier and not ruin or have your bakery blacklisted. Does everybody understand this? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Has anybody ever been to court and lost? Anyone? No. Has anybody ever filed a case and lost? No. Great. You're young. I hope you never do it. Okay. Yeah. Charlene. Go ahead, Charlene. Would you like to talk to me? Can you unmute Charlene's microphone, please? Anu? Are you there, Charlene?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Tell me, how can I help you? Do you have a question?
I've been before in the court. I'm a
All right.
witness of my boss.
All right.
I'm
But
a
have you been
witness.
to, all right. Did you go to court once before?
Yeah, Supreme Court, Manila.
Right. Were you a witness or were you suing someone?
My boss suing someone, qualified theft,
Right.
501. And then
So
I'm
you
one
were
of
a
the
witness for your boss, right?
Yeah, because I am a checker of the company, of
Right.
their
So
company.
did your company win?
Yeah, they've been in jail and then they pay for their
Right. So in
freedom.
in Charlene's case, it was a criminal offense. So the guy went to court for a crime, okay? And her company won. But the rules of evidence are the same. When they took this person to court, her company had to show evidence that this person stole. That's why Charlene was called as a witness. But to go to court takes a long time, a very long time, okay? So there's another way they could have handled it is to appoint a adjudicator to actually convince this person that they took something from the company illegally and that they either should return it and pay for it, save the matter being referred to the police. All right? Now, the difference
Yeah,
between that is it would have been quicker and the person wouldn't have gone to jail. But it depends on the employer. For the employer, it may mean going to court or charging him criminally is the best way to do it. Okay? But sometimes
Yeah.
the theft is very big, so you have to go to court. You need the police, okay? All right, do you all understand that? But we're not talking about criminal matters. I'm talking more about civil matters. Charlene, could you keep your camera on? You're not at work, Charlene. I would really appreciate it if you could keep your camera on because you learn more. Is that possible? Thank you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really important that you switch your camera on. When you switch your camera off, what you're doing is you're not learning and it's not respectful for me. You know, I put in a lot of time preparing these lessons. If you're not working, please afford me the respect and switch on your camera. Thank you. All right. So remember that court action should always be a last alternative, because court action is expensive and it can damage your brand. All right, so let's talk about this now, and let's talk about it in a different perspective. And what is that? Adjudication timeline and key deadlines. Adjudication can usually happen within 28 to 30 days. Remember, in the United Kingdom, they have a special body only for construction contracts. They also have a similar body in Australia and in the United States. And this body is set up only to deal with builders and construction contracts, because a lot of construction companies take deposits to build houses and never finish on time. But as I said, that's only one type of adjudication. All right, say day 0, notice of adjudication. So, adjudication process formally begins when the referring party serves a notice of adjudication. You send them a letter or an email saying you want adjudication to the other party. The document identifies the dispute, explains the issues involved, and specifies what you're asking for. The notice effectively triggers an adjudication process and establishes the scope for the adjudication authority that you're going to use. Within 7 days, the notice of adjudication is issued by the adjudicator to the other party. Within 7 days of the notice, the referring party must submit a referral notice not later than 7 days serving the notice of adjudication. Now, what does this document contain? It contains all the information that is required to the adjudicator. Within 14 days, the responding party, so for the hairdressing case, the salon must submit its story to the adjudicator. And then what happens? Within 21 to 27 days, you will be called to a hearing, or you'll be invited to call other witnesses. The adjudicator will hear your arguments and try to come to a resolution between the parties. By day 28, the adjudicator would issue a determination as agreed to both parties. Now, the minute you walk out of adjudication, if the hairdressing salon doesn't do her hair again within 7 days or 14 days, depending on what was agreed by the adjudicator, she can still go to court. For example, after reviewing the evidence, the adjudicator concluded that ABC Construction substantially complied with the contract, but there was only minor defects, not $50,000. So the adjudicator orders XYZ to pay $45,000 plus interest within 7 days, allowing the project and business relationship to continue without court proceedings. Now remember, they refused to pay $50,000, but during adjudication, they agreed that the actual damage was only worth $5,000. The parties agreed and they continued their contract. After that, they paid and then the contractor finished the job. All right, so now under adjudication, the adjudicator usually will give you 14 days to pay, but in some countries, the law allows them to give you 30 days or 42, 45 days. You can give them 6 months, but that would only be if both parties agreed. For example, you agreed that you wait for the salon to bring in a new colorist from Korea in 6 months, and only then you'll let them fix the recoloring on your hair. But usually no one will allow 6 months. Usually you want a resolution within 14 to 45 days. All right, so a summary of the timeline for adjudication is 0 days up to day 28, where the decision is binding. Does everybody understand so far the benefits of adjudication? Yes or no? All right, so let me give you an example. You can use this with your bank if they charge you penalty on a loan payment that you think you've made. You could use this with the shop fitter if you're actually setting up a shop and you get a shop fitter to do the interior design and decoration. You could use this with a supplier who supplies you substandard product to sell in your shop. You could use this with a factory who fails to manufacture the goods according to specifications. You could use this with an employment agency who you contracted to find you workers, took your money, but never sent you the right worker. You could use this against your doctor for overcharging you on your medical treatment. Settlement is better than conflict. Those are 3 magic words. Settlement is better than conflict. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Do we all understand that? Great. Come on, I want everybody to show me their yellow hands. I want to see flying yellow hands if you understand me. Let's go, guys. Come on, I want to see flying yellow hands everywhere. Hurry up. Very good, Joshua. I think Joshua next week is going to file his first adjudication case. Is that right, Joshua? Yes, Joshua, open your microphone. Yes?
No answer, no, sir.
Oh, well, if you need to file one and you need someone to help you with the paperwork, Joshua, I've got a lot of samples. Just let me know. All right,
Okay,
mate?
thank you for this. This lesson will help,
You're,
sir. This lesson will help.
you're welcome. Bubakar, do you need any help to file a claim, Bubakar? Open your microphone, Bubakar. Ms. Anu, could you open Mr. Bubakar's microphone, please? Are you there, Bubakar?
Yes, I'm here.
Tell me, where are you from, Bubakar? Which country are you in?
I'm from South Africa.
Right. Tell me, do you have adjudication process in South Africa?
No.
Are you
No.
sure?
Actually, I never been have experience with that.
Okay. Right. You've never had it, but it does apply. In actual fact, South Africa has got many international adjudication firms from London operating there, and it's heavily used in manufacturing in South Africa. There you go. You've learned something today, Boubacar. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever had a dispute with a supplier?
This, yes. With my mom, like my mom restaurant. So
Yeah. So
sometimes
how do
when
you usually settle it?
sometimes when she told me I must go early to receive this supplier to set them.
Right.
Sometimes the supplier brings something that is my
Yeah.
mom didn't order it. So I said, no, my mom
So then you
didn't
have to
order
return
it.
it and ask for a
You have
refund,
to
right?
return and take it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
sometimes like that, yes.
But you would agree that most of the times you can settle it just by you talking to them, correct?
Yes.
Very good, Boubacar. What sort of food does your mum sell?
Sorry?
What sort of restaurant does your mum have? Is it South African food or Western food or what?
Oh, my mom is no, it's the Asian food. Is so it's been she been in Korea, so she's
Yes.
cooking Korean food. Like
Wow.
she has a restaurant name is
Okay.
Banchan
Okay.
restaurant.
Okay. Do
So
you eat Korean
maybe
food? Do you like
Asia
Korean
is
food,
cooking
Bubakar?
yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Yes,
Thank you.
especially gimbap and
Oh, well, you're not the
yeah.
only one. Everybody here. How many people like Korean food? Can you wave your hands? Who likes Korean food? Okay, Bubakar, we're all coming to Korea to eat your famous food. Is that possible?
Yes, yes.
You're welcome. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Bubakar.
You're
All
welcome.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
most of you know that Korean food is famous for kimchi, right? How many of you like kimchi? Does anybody like kimchi? Arsalan, do you like kimchi, Arsalan? I'm sure Arsalan likes kimchi. Isayan, do you like kimchi? Isyan, do you like kimchi? Okay. All right. So I like kimchi. Okay, Cecilia. All right. So let's go back to today's lesson. Here we go. All right. So we all understand the adjudication timeline. Let's go and talk about the next part. All right. So remember, statutory basis for adjudication in countries like America, England, Australia, if you have a dispute with a building contractor, in some countries, you must go to adjudication before you go to court. Okay. Now, this is basically to try to help companies resolve the problem quickly and not delay construction. And also because if they have to wait for court, it may mean cash flow difficulties and they are not able to complete the project. And that means people will not be able to move into their new house. So let's talk about construction related adjudication versus other adjudication. All right. So construction adjudication is a legal right under the Construction Act of 1996, which is English law, and this operates in all countries where they use English law as precedent. Australia, the United Kingdom, Singapore uses some statutes from the UK as precedent. Otherwise, they refer to Singapore law. Okay. Um, it gives them a faster decision in 28 days. It can be started as soon as the builder or the customer refers a dispute. Binding effect, interim binding, pay now, argue later, or pay now, argument settled. And it's used whenever there's a construction contract. So this is the construction related industry. Now, if other industries like consumers, banks, insurance, anything else, suppliers, usually this is defined by contract or your own rules as the business buying or the factory supplying that hasn't been paid. Now, the speed for this varies depending on which adjudicator you use, how soon you actually issue the notice, how soon the hearing is set, and how much time the adjudicator allows. Again, this can start as quickly as possible. There is no delay because it simply requires someone to actually serve an adjudication notice. Okay, so remember that the decision of the adjudicator is enforceable and usually it's binding on both parties. However, if one party does not obey the order, you can still take them to court. Most of the times, it's used for consumer arguments, finance company arguments, insurance company arguments, or employment contracts, or employment, breach of employment contracts, or tenancy contracts and rental contracts. Consumer matters like going to a salon or not getting the service you've been provided. All right, so remember that it's really important for you to understand what adjudication is. Now, I've put some slides here about statutory and basic adjudication requirements, okay? Especially in construction, because I know now in the Philippines, there's also a similar body being set up, especially to deal with construction contracts, because there's a lot of construction companies in the Philippines that take deposits from people buying apartments or condos, but don't deliver on time. So I'm actually aware that in the Philippines, they're setting up a similar law, which is similar to British law, but the Philippines doesn't follow British law, but they do have their own laws and regulations, which will be very similar to British law. Okay, so in my lesson material, I have talked about general adjudication for business. I have talked about construction industry adjudication. So you can read it and get to know it for knowledge. Does everybody understand that? Could you raise your hands, please? Come on, show me your beautiful yellow hands, everyone. Great, excellent. I want to see, I've got 360 students. Can you all show me your hands? Let's go. Hurry up. Great, excellent. Let me go back to the slides. Okay, so what we've said here is that adjudication saves money. All right, now remember that especially in technology, IT technology, there is adjudicators that specialize in information technology. Let me give you an example. Say you sign a contract with somebody to develop software for you, all right? Does everybody understand that? And you paid for the software to be developed, but the software did not meet your requirements. The developer refuses to refund your money or fix it. There is specialized technology adjudicators which have specialized engineers and they understand technology. And usually their decision is enforceable by the court system. All right? And in the UK, there has been cases where technology software companies have been taken to adjudication. They failed to rectify the problem. They ended up in the High Court, and the High Court enforced the adjudicator's ruling. So adjudication can happen in finance, in IT, in any sort of business because it's cheaper and it saves reputation. However, if one of the parties fail, you can still take them to court. All right, so let's go on. For example, delayed payment in a commercial construction project. The property developer, Urban Heights Limited, hires Premier Build Contractors Limited to construct a 5 million office complex. Upon completion of a major project milestone, Premier Build submits an invoice for £500,000. However, Urban Heights refuses to pay, claiming that the finishing works are incomplete. All right, Premier Build believes that payment has been unfairly withheld and exercises its right, okay, under the Housing Grants Construction Regeneration Act, which is in the UK, and initiates an adjudication against the other party. Because construction contracts usually contain incomplete adjudication, that means that you don't have to wait till the contract is complete, because during construction you pay part. So part one, you put up the structure, there's a payment. Every stage of payment can go to adjudication. All right, after reviewing the submissions, the adjudicator finds that the contract has substantially completed the required work and order of 450,000 immediately, retaining only 50,000 for minor damages or incompleted work. So when the order comes out, both parties have agreed that I will only pay for 50,000. I will hold 50,000. The other company agreed before the arbitrator. They pay, the building construction continues. Again, they save their reputation. They don't spend money on unneeded court costs. The building contractor doesn't get a bad name for failing to complete the building on time. They protect their brand and their reputation. All right, let's keep going. I'll let you read about construction later. All right, so remember, ladies and gentlemen, that in housing is a big thing around the world, all right, especially in Wales, in Australia, in England, and where else. So you might ask yourself, well, Wally, when do we use adjudication? You will use it when you go into business, okay? You'll use it when you supply businesses and they don't pay your invoice, when you order goods from a factory and they're not made to specification, if you open a restaurant and you order fresh produce and the produce is delivered to your restaurant and it's damaged and the supplier says, I won't give you a refund. You could go to a consumer group to actually show them that the fresh produce was off, it couldn't be used, and they will hear both parties and they will order that the supplier either gives you a refund or provides you substitute product. So arbitration is a cheap way to solve your problem, protect your brand and your reputation. All right, so the process is effective for resolving disputes involving payment, technical issues, project performance, or simply the hairdressing effect where you asked for your hair to be colored by a professional hairstylist. He made a mistake. He has to compensate you or fix it. However, adjudication is highly effective in many situations. It's not always the most appropriate dispute resolution method because remember, when you go to arbitration, both companies basically present their idea and the arbitrator will try to get you, the adjudicator will try to get you to agree and give you what he believes is the correct amount. Now, if you believe you deserve a higher amount and you don't think arbitration will be able to get that, especially if you're looking for millions of dollars, then you need to go through the court system where you need to spend a lot of money on litigation and evidentiary documents in order to be able to sue someone for amounts amounting to millions of dollars. Okay, time-sensitive projects, again, arbitration, okay, adjudication, not only in building, it could be in uh, your renovation contractor on your house, cash flow disputes, adjudication, again, non-payment because you believe that the work wasn't done as required before you can make the payment for them to continue. Technical disputes, okay, interim resolutions. You might want the contractor to finish the work and then you will release the money or part of the money only when the work is finished because some things haven't been done correctly. Interim resolution. So you want a resolution so he finishes the work and then you can dispute later rather than delaying the work and ruining your brand and reputation. Okay, so remember, where should you not use adjudication? Okay, a structural failure occurs in high-rise buildings involving developer, contractor, structural engineer, architect, or steel supplier. This means that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right? Okay. In this case, it's not suitable for every situation. If you're not just taking your problem with one of them, for example, you and the main contractor, or the developer and the architect, or the buyer of the house and the developer, those can go to adjudication. But if you're having a problem, you're the developer and you have a problem with the main contractor, the structural engineer, the steel supplier, and the architect, because they're all responsible for the problem, then you should take it to court. All right. Again, if you require evidence, claims for $20 million, big claims, they should go to court. If you require a decision from the court because you don't think that the other party will obey adjudication, okay, then you should go straight to court. Okay, so the pros of adjudication. Why should you use adjudication? Speed. Okay, you can get it done quicker, typically within 28 days, minimizes delays, both parties walk away happy. Cost effectiveness, save legal costs, faster resolution, and more accessible. Flexibility, you can submit it at any time. You don't need a lawyer. You simply go there, tell your story, and the adjudicator will listen to both stories. Now, remember, if you own a small house or you own a small company, construction company, you become involved in a dispute over a customer refuses to pay you for work that he asked you for, it will cost you more than £20,000 to take him to court and appoint lawyers. So you would go to adjudication and you would both walk away with a solution. All right, so remember, guys, that you can have temporary resolutions, you can have long-term resolutions, depending on the type of dispute. All right? So remember, everyone, that here we talk about limited scope of appeal. Now, remember, adjudication is restricted because the adjudicator's decision is basically what the adjudicator decided. So the only thing you can go to court for after adjudication is if the party fails to deliver. You can't go there to change the adjudicator's decision. All right, so if you want to change the decision, you would have to show that there was a breach of natural justice in the decision, or there was unfairness in the way the decision was made. All right, or the adjudicator did not take into account all the evidence. So adjudication is supposed to be a quick fix for you not to have to go to court. However, if the adjudicator sends a decision and the party has agreed to it, but they don't pay, then you can go to court to enforce that payment. Okay, let's go on. Let's summarize this. So what are the pros of adjudication? Fast, cheaper, keeps the cash flow moving. You can go for adjudication at any time. You don't have to wait for months or for years to go to court, and it's less formal. The cons or the negatives, the decision could be only temporary, and at the end of the day, the other party could challenge it and go to court if they want to waste that much money. However, if they simply do not do what's described in the order, you can simply go straight to court for resolution, for enforcement. The tight timetable, okay, basically it happens within 28 days, and for some major companies that's too quick. They'd rather use the court system. If you want to handle a dispute involving the contractor, the developer, the architect, the electrical engineer, the mechanical engineer over faulty lift installation, you would have to involve a court because there's too many parties involved. Remember, the bad thing about it is the cost, and it's less suited to very large document heavy claims. So if you have a claim for millions of dollars, which will require a lot of documents and a lot of justification, it's better for you to go straight to a court. Okay? All right. So does everybody understand what we mean by adjudication? Does everybody understand what we mean by adjudication? Yes or no? Please, guys, I don't want you to hear me to say I'm going to take my boyfriend for adjudication because he promised to buy me a diamond ring and he didn't. You will lose. Not unless you have a written contract from him saying he's going to buy you a diamond ring. Yes, Marvin. Are you there, Marvin? Hello, Marvin. Say hello, Marvin. Hi, Marvin. Anu, can you open Mr. Marvin's microphone, please? Talk to me, Marvin. Don't be shy. Hi, Marvin. Hi, Marvin. Are you there, Marvin? Okay. Marvin, are you there? What about Nor Rosie? Hi, Nor. Are you there, Nor Rosie? Say hello, Nor. Open your microphone. Come on. Say hello to me. You've been in my
Hi.
class before. Hi, how are you today?
Good.
Are
Thank
you
you, sir.
enjoying the class?
Yes. Thank
Have you
you.
learnt anything?
Yes.
Good on you. Thank you very much. All right. Great. Excellent. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, adjudication works. Adjudication can work in many situations, but you have to use it correctly. Make sure you document your evidence. Make sure you keep records of everything. If you go to the hairdresser and they color your hair white and people laugh at you, take pictures. Keep your friends as witnesses. Get copy of the receipt that you paid the salon and how much you paid them. If the salon advertises that they're specialized in hair coloring, take a copy of the advertisement with you. This will help you win the case. All right? Don't go in there saying, I think they're specialized. I think I paid this much. I think they promised me this much. Adjudication can't help you. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? Yeah, Joshua understands. I'm sure Joshua is going to be going to adjudication over something soon, probably over his next girlfriend. I don't know. All right. Okay. As I said, Crystal, please don't try to take your boyfriend to adjudication over a diamond ring. You will lose unless he has a written contract with you. Okay, mate? All right. Good on you. Okay. Does anybody else want to ask any questions about adjudication? I've got hands have gone up. Do you think adjudication is always the best way to resolve conflict? Yes, Hildegard, because adjudication is cheaper, more cost effective, and it's a friendlier way without getting you a bad reputation. Now, when should you not use it? If you believe that too many people are involved and it's going to mean the house contractor, the electrical engineer, the builder, the architect, then it becomes too complex. You go to a lawyer. But if it's a simple dispute, then adjudication is the cheapest, the most affordable. Okay? The most affordable. Can I go to a lawyer for adjudication or not? Adjudication does not allow legal representation. That's the only negative. All right? If you want to go to adjudicator, it's only the claimant and the respondent. Who is the claimant? The person that lodges the claim for adjudication. The respondent is the other party. Okay? All right. Just slow down, Leovi. So if Skay takes his former girlfriend to a consumer arbitrator and says that he bought his girlfriend a car to use to go to work, but it wasn't her car. It was registered under his name and he wants it back. He could go to a consumer arbitrator, show them the proof of contract that he purchased the car, and he would win his claim very quickly. However, the only way he would lose it is if the girlfriend had a video where Skay said, "Darling, I love you. I'm giving you the car." You understand that, Skay? Are you there, Skay? Hi, Skay. Do you understand my example? Do you agree with it, Skay? Hello there. Talk to me.
I agree with
Hi.
you,
Do you,
sir.
do you
Yeah.
understand the example? Do you
Yes.
understand why adjudication is a cheaper way of getting resolution?
Yes. I have
Go
what
ahead.
I
You have what?
uh, about adjudication. I think I have another perspective. When I'm
Yes,
in
go
the
ahead.
when I'm in the office, I have been studying as an auditor, and there are so many conflict with a client with my client when I audit investigation in my office about the building, the asset, and the inventory. So how to handle this situation?
Right.
That's
Okay.
why
There
I
is,
just, yeah.
okay. You see, you have to be careful because audit contracts have confidentiality clauses in them. So there's non-disclosure clauses in audit contracts. So most audit firms, big audit firms, have a clause to say that in the event of a dispute between the auditor and the client being audited, the arbitration should be before a qualified independent auditor. All right. So you can go to adjudication, but be very careful because most audit contracts do not allow that. All right. They don't allow it. So what would usually happen is you would have to call a senior partner from your firm to adjudicate, or you would have to get the client to give you permission to actually arrange adjudication with an audit expert. All right. Now, if the client agrees to it, yes, there's many audit adjudicators out there. They're usually accounting firms, very reputable accounting firms that do it. Does that help you, Skay? Yes or no?
Yes,
Skay?
yes,
Does
yes,
that
sir.
answer your question? But be very careful, Skay, because audit contracts are very sensitive. There's non-disclosure clauses and confidentiality clauses. Now, you might want to look at your audit contract and add the clause that should it happen that there is a dispute between the auditor and the client, arbitration can be referred to a qualified independent adjudicator. For resolution, but it would have to be something that the client agrees to, especially in audit. Okay?
What about, I have a question here. How does
Yes, go ahead.
adjudication help maintain cash flow in the construction industry? What may happen to a subcontractor if payments are withheld?
Okay, well, that's why in most countries, construction has a special channel of adjudication, which is legislated by law. England, Australia, the United States, Canada. When construction is involved and there is a payment delay, which is going to affect the completion of construction, which will affect other people, there is a legislation, an act of parliament that allows that the actual person that is refusing to pay to say, listen, I'm not going to pay you because of this. But in actual fact, to make it quicker, I will get it adjudicated and I will pay whatever the adjudicator orders. All right. So that clause applies under the law in Australia, in Great Britain, in the United States, and Canada. And the reason the Act has been put in place, originating in the UK, is because prior to that, people they were buying apartments and one person would refuse to pay, the contractor would not continue, everybody in the building would be affected. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So now the law provides for very quick resolution, and it protects both sides. So if you refuse to pay $50,000, if you don't go to adjudication straight away and the builder takes you, you will also have to pay interest on the amount that the adjudicator orders you to pay. So under the law in those countries, if you're disputing an adjudication, you're disputing something with a builder, you should always, as soon as you find the defect, you say, there is a defect. I'm prepared to pay this much now. You want it? He says, no, I want the full amount. You go straight to adjudication. All right. Because remember, if you wait 6 months and go to adjudication, the adjudicator will give the builder interest on the money he orders. All right. So in the construction industry, it's a very protected industry. Do you follow what I'm saying, Skay? Skay?
I really appreciate it. It helps.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You're welcome. Let me go back. As I said, adjudication does not allow for lawyers. Okay. Sir, can I ask if the travel agency makes a scam? Yes, you can take them to a consumer adjudication body. Any consumer monitoring watchdog has an adjudication body for travel agent scams or any other scams you might become involved in the marketplace. Maintain fairness, accountability in a business legal environment. Yes, adjudication is used quite regularly to adjudicate with clients to maintain legal fairness. Can adjudication help maintain business relationship after a dispute? Absolutely. Most parties walk away from adjudication as friends and agree. However, if they go to court, they become enemies and tarnish a brand. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions about adjudication? Cheryl Osoy. Do you have any questions for me, young Cheryl? Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
Hey, sir. Hi. Good evening. Good evening,
Good.
everyone.
Do you have any
Yes, sir.
questions
I have a
for me?
question. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
go ahead.
I'm wondering because in the past they are using a treaty agreement. So I want to understand what is treaty agreement or it still exists nowadays, and what's the difference between treaty agreement and education
Hold on. What is it? Treaty agreement between a customer and a provider, or a treaty agreement with a government? Which
from
one are you
country to
talking about?
country? It's about like
Country to country
yeah,
treaties cannot be settled by adjudication. They can only be settled under international law. All right. So a
yeah. I'm asking
treaty
about the
is a.
difference, sir, or it still
Oh,
exists
okay. All right.
nowadays. The
So
treaty
a
agreement still
treaty.
exists. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let me just explain. A legal treaty or a treaty signed between two governments is subject to the laws of the countries under which it was signed. All right. Now, in most treaties signed, they usually stipulate that in the event of breach, it must be referred to the United Nations if they're members of the UN. If it isn't, if it's regarding security or military exercise, it could have a clause there where it has to be referred to the United Nations Security Panel for resolution. So a treaty is a legal or formal agreement between two governments on a matter of law, a matter of defense, or a matter of anything else. Can it be adjudicated for the two countries? Yes, provided the two countries agree on taking it to the International Panel for Arbitration or adjudication. There is many international courts that do it, but it would be subject to the government of one country applying a dispute under that treaty. But from common understanding, Cheryl, most treaties usually define where they can go for arbitration, and it's usually the UN or a defined legal world court, okay? International Court of Arbitration, okay? And there is an International Court of Arbitration that deals with international matters between government bodies, okay? That's number one, okay? Now, adjudication in the private sector is different because the adjudicators are private business people, lawyers, accountants, specialists in their own right who actually do adjudication and set up adjudication services. In the consumer sector, they're usually consumer lawyers or consumer organizations who understand consumer law very well. Okay? Does that answer your question, Cheryl?
Yes, sir. Because I was thinking in the past, because also the treaty agreement they use for trading and business, because before it's you use barter system, right? So
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Well, that's
treaty
a good
agreement
point.
is
International trade treaties that you're talking about, which cover excise tax and duties, you'll find that those treaties, Cheryl, they play a very role in the economy of two countries or a region. And usually they have specific terms. Now, if you remember when Mr. Donald Trump came to power, he went against many countries and imposed excise and duties, okay? And many countries said you can't do that. We have treaties in place. And he said that the treaties are outdated when they were signed. And he said that, we're not prepared to abide by any treaty. Now, there's two things that happen under this scenario. Simply, Chinese suppliers will no longer sell their product to American consumers or American companies because the tax is so high and American companies don't want to buy it. The duties are too high. So Chinese suppliers would lose sales because China can't get the US to agree to excise and duties. The loss for the US is they can't buy what they need from China. So what happens then is the government has two choices. The governments can renegate or renegotiate, as Trump did with the Chinese government and other governments, or those governments can take Trump to an international adjudication body or arbitration body. All right. But, you have to think of the practicality, Cheryl. Even if the Chinese government took Trump to a arbitration international arbitration body or court of arbitration. Will Trump follow that order? No, because Trump's interest is in the trade of his own country. So that's why China didn't take on Trump in an international court. They decided to renegotiate the treaty. So depending on what the treaty involves, most times it would be renegotiated by both governments, all right? Because both governments have an interest. Do you understand that, Cheryl?
yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Now,
So
when we
I
go
also
to,
want to ask you.
hold on, one more thing.
I also
When
want
we
to
go
ask you
to,
a few.
just one more quick one. Adjudication between a buyer and a seller, a company and a customer is different because they are not treaties. Adjudications are nothing to do with treaty documents, okay? All right, thank you. All right, go ahead.
Just I want to ask you a favor. Next, if you could like make topic about how the tariff work in the global market.
Sorry, how
The tariff of the country and how it's
So
work.
you'd like me to do a biz talk about
Yeah.
excise and tariffs for
Yes.
importing goods from other countries. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, sir. Because
Very
as a
good.
business student, I really want to understand everything.
Right.
Because from
Does
the past,
everybody
it's
want to
about-
learn that? Very good. How many of you want to learn about tariffs and excise? Can you wave your hands? Okay. All right. We'll arrange something. I don't know whether it will be next week, Cheryl, but it will be in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Would that be okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
All right.
been like good things for
You're
us
here.
to learn.
You're here every week, so I promise I'll do it in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you, Cheryl.
much.
Thank you for being here today. Let me just go on. I've got another message in the chat box. Hold on, adjudication. Okay. When scammer is cheating many people, money, time, how can I solve the problem, sir? Should I go directly to adjudication? Well, if the scammer has scammed only you don't know of anybody else, it's quicker to go to adjudication. If you want to lodge a police report, you have to wait for the police to investigate. It depends how much evidence you have. If you know the scammer's real name, the company's name and address, and you have evidence, you can lodge a consumer adjudication body, a consumer watchdog body straight away. However, if you don't have enough evidence or you don't know who this scammer really is, and he's given you a false name, you need to lodge a police report immediately. Now, once you lodge a police report, at the same time, once you find out who he is, you can also go to adjudication. But usually, if it's a scam of a major scale, more than one person's involved, usually those scammers' real identity is not known and it becomes a police matter. Does that answer your question, hey? What is the better business, local business or online business? Well, online business will always win, Angelo. And if you have ideas about what sort of business you want to do, you have my WhatsApp number. Send me the type of business you want and why, and I will advise you. Okay. All right, great. Let me just keep going. All right. Does everybody here have my WhatsApp number in case you have any questions? Miss Anu, could you put my WhatsApp number in the chat box for everyone? +65 822 52220. Miss Anu, could you also share the link to today's lesson material, please? Thank you. Are you there, Miss Anu? Okay, just hold on, guys. Let me put the link in the chat box. One moment. Okay, the link is in the chat box already. Miss Anu, could you also put my phone number in the chat box, please? +65 822 52220. That's my WhatsApp chat number. If you have any questions, you're welcome to message me. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Wally Rauda. It's been my absolute humble and honor and pleasure to have you as BizTalk 152 participants. Please, if there's anybody else that you know that is studying with us or has studied with us in the past, graduated, working, unemployed, and needs help, and wants to learn more to become successful, they're welcome to join BizTalk. Please invite them to join with you, okay? It's my pleasure. I'm here for you. If there's something you want to learn, please drop me a message and we'll take care of it. Remember, providing you've attended, your attendance has been recorded, or you've confirmed that you're at work, you will receive a copy of a certificate plus a copy of the lesson material. Mary Len, have you had a good day today? Did you enjoy my lesson, Mary Len? Okay, and remember, Mary Len, next time you change your hair color, go to a reputable salon. All right, young lady, my advice to you. Thank you, gorgeous. Have a great afternoon. God bless you all. Please enjoy your dinner wherever you are. I love you all. I'll see you again at the next BizTalk. Goodbye, everyone. We love you all. Good night.